Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 156th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
Howdy. I have to put howdy this week because I was like, that's something that Indiana Jones would say, you know?
Is it though? Just because he's got
No.
the hat, that doesn't mean it's a howdy.
No.
Also, I loved how you were clearly trying not to say howdy, but then you just couldn't think of anything else, so you just said howdy. Man, all right. And of course, we got PTA's number one fanboy, the ASMR enthusiast, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Hello, what's up?
Not much, man. Not much. I'm excited to talk about this movie that I'm once again excited to shit on. You know, Indiana Jones, it's trash, as we've all learned. Do you think everyone's left already? Probably. No one cares anymore after the Raiders review. I think we put everyone off. I think so. So we can say whatever we want now. That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which opened in the US on May 24th, 1989. It was directed by Steven Spielberg, once again. It is an action-adventure film, and the synopsis says, in 1938, after his father goes missing while pursuing the Holy Grail, which is a totally normal thing to do, Indiana Jones finds himself against the Nazis again to stop them from obtaining its powers. Very good. All right, Jaden, Last Crusade. How many times have you seen it? What do you think this time?
This is my second time seeing it. And I gotta be honest, the film I remember is very different to this film. I remember being a lot slower, which I guess doesn't match the tone of Indiana Jones, but I don't know, maybe I think of completely different shit. I really enjoyed this one, to be honest. I think it's the most polished version of Indiana Jones we get. It's obviously right back on the track of Raiders, but it just feels like everything works this time. I think the villains, they're still pretty similar. Every other aspect is improved. I think the music just functions better. I think Indy as a protagonist is a bit more interesting with his dad. I think the actual journey and the actual kind of core mystery, while it's still kind of basic, I think it is a bit better than that of Raiders. No, it's definitely the strongest kind of I've felt about this series so far.
That's good. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I really, really quite like this one. Yeah, after what I said last episode with this sort of historically being my favourite, I sort of always felt that way when I originally watched them when I was like 10 years old or whatever. It holds up as that for me. It very much fulfills like the excitement and checks all the boxes of what you'd want from another Indiana Jones adventure. And I'm sure people were thrilled with it for that at the time, and it met those expectations. But for me, I just think some of the story beats and character dynamics are just that little bit more fleshed out. And I was definitely more interested for sure. What you already said, Jaden, about some of the villains, some of the stuff they do with the villains, Indy and his dad, total highlight for me. I was so into the Indy and Henry back and forth the whole time. It's definitely my favorite thing the series has done. So, really good stuff all around for me. This final entry in a trilogy that isn't a trilogy, Liam, what about you?
Yeah, I was really into it as well. I thought it was like a bit less goofy, and the relationship was obviously very. They were less like hostile to each other than I thought, which is nice. Although they obviously had their their little junior quip thing. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Was the Sean Connery Harrison Ford back and forth like a highlight for you as well?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was great.
Nice. So, Jamie, are you going to jump in?
No, I was just gonna start with from the very start. I always forget about the opening flashback, and if someone was to try to do that flashback today, they'd be crucified for it, because
Why is that?
The fact it goes through and explains the past of everything. It explains why he hates snakes. It explains the whip. It explains the fedora. It explains his it should belong in a museum kind of ideal. It goes and touches every single thing about him. If someone tried to do that today, they'd be crucified and said that's poor story making, because they just
That's actually true. That's actually really true.
But yeah, it's still a fun little flashback.
I liked it. Yeah, that's true. Actually, it's like every single defining characteristic of Indiana Jones was created in what do you reckon? 20 minutes? However long that whole thing took for him. That's pretty funny. That was a defining day in his life, we'll say. But I honestly didn't know this existed. I knew there was a young Indiana Jones stuff, because I knew that River Phoenix played him at some point. But I sort of got that mixed up with, because you know how they had the show, the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles?
No.
At the time, back in the day in the 90s, they had that show. So I sort of just thought, oh, he played him in that show or something. I didn't know. Like I had no idea that the movies ever sort of did this. So I totally forgot about this, and it was a fun opening prologue sequence. Although, do you guys reckon River Phoenix looks anything like Harrison Ford? I don't know if I really bought that, but he was good, but I don't know.
Probably not, but like he does. There was this one moment where he like mimicked the Ford facial expression perfectly when he was a kid. When he was like looking at his friend, he like did this like disagreeing face or something. I don't know. It was very Jones.
Like if you were to tell me it was, I wouldn't be surprised. But like at the same time, like I wouldn't see it on my own. You know.
Right. Okay. Like you can buy it, but it's not like a spitting image or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the term is. Yeah. Harrison Ford nominated River Phoenix to play him as a teenager, having worked with him before on The Mosquito Coast, which is a film I've never heard of. But when describing how he prepared for playing the role, Phoenix explained that he didn't really base his portrayal on the Indiana Jones character, but on Harrison Ford himself. So he observed Ford a lot out of character before taking the part. So there you go. There you go, Fitzy. He did his research. He knew what he was doing. Yeah, it was a fun sequence. I liked the little the fake out with I don't know who the villain in the sequence is. Like I don't know if they name him or anything. But that guy like having the hat and like him having the reveal thing, like you know the shot where he like looks up at the camera and it's like it's a fake out. I don't know if audiences in 1989 were aware of like fake outs like that. It was you know I've seen it before, but it was fun. I liked it. And there was just once again in this goddamn movie, man, in this sequence. Oh, let's not. Oh, I feel like do we need to devote a whole like topic of conversation to the rats? Why are all the animals, man? There's too many animals, you know. Outrageous stuff. All the snakes. Now I understand why he's scared of all that shit, you know. I want to see how disgusted you are by this trivia, guys. 2,000 rats were bred for the production. Breeding them especially was necessary, as ordinary rats would have been riddled with disease. So, Jaden, rest easy. The rats had no diseases.
But like those rats,
okay.
like a lot of them definitely died, right?
Oh yeah, surely.
I know that wouldn't get approved today, would it?
No. Yeah, that's another good point. There are ethical questions there, actually. You know, did they just bred these rats and then they basically died?
You just let them go loose in Venice or wherever they were.
Yeah. Do you have any sympathy for rats?
Yeah.
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 So no, I know some people just like don't give a shit about it because they're rats, you know.
No, like family members used to have them as pets.
Oh yeah.
One, not like a common occurrence, but like one of them did. So like you know, I think that bred a bit of sympathy.
Yeah, fair enough.
And whenever my cat gets one, you know, I'm like, oh, it's a shame, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Does your cat like actually eat the rats, or does he just like play with them?
It depends on his mood.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. What about you, Fitzy? Are you sympathetic towards rats?
Yeah, I reckon. But okay, so in the sequence where like when they set on fire, don't like when rats are under that pressure, don't they start like eating things? You know.
I've heard that.
I thought that's what's going to happen. The rats are like going to start.
Oh, it's like the thing in Game of Thrones. Remember that?
Yeah,
where they put the bucket. Oh, that's revolting.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
but like that. That's when like heat's been like directly applied. I don't think like they're just going to get like see a fire and like start chewing shit.
I don't know rat psychology. But
yeah, you don't know rat law.
Oh god, I'm glad. Sorry, I just concluded my animal psychoanalysis of you guys to see if you're psychopaths or not. One thing I don't know if you noticed this, Fitzy, but a big standout to me at the end of this prologue sequence actually was the transition that they use from the young Indiana Jones to Harrison Ford, where they do the cross. They River Phoenix close up. They crossfade to Harrison Ford on the boat, and then he gets punched in the face, which I totally had no idea. It's so obvious now. And of course it takes inspiration. That's the exact same shot they do in Uncharted 4 in Chapter 1 when you play as young Nate. And it's literally the same framing of the shot. And they crossfade the old Nate and he gets punched in the face in the prison. And I immediately just like, it was so funny because I love that shot. And I just was like, oh, it makes perfect sense, obviously, but I just had no idea it came straight from here. So it was an exact remake of it. It was cool. Anyway, then bloody Harrison Ford goes back to college in this movie. Thank God. All the chicks are there again. Do you reckon Harrison Ford looks a bit older in this movie?
Oh yeah, I noticed that a bit.
Yeah, I did too. Jaden?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's been 5 years.
Yeah. It makes it. No, I just asked because I noticed it a little bit, and I feel like sometimes my read on that's a bit off compared to you guys. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if I came in here and you would have said, "Oh no, he looks the same." Okay. What about Sean Connery? Let's just get to him. We've already brought him up. How'd you feel about his performance, Fitzy, here? And how much does it really overall sort of improve the way you see the movie and just the way he plays this character?
Yeah, he's Scottish, which is interesting, but he just is his normal accent. But he's I don't know, he's a very charming character. I don't know what he is. He's just a fun dude. He's just a fun, silly dad, you know.
Yeah, he's a jolly dad.
Mm.
He goes for young women, you know. That's admirable.
Oh yeah, true. I guess.
Hang on, that line where bloody Harrison Ford told him, "You're old enough to be her grandfather." It's like, what does that say about you, Indy? You know, he's just exposed himself big time. Don't you reckon?
Because that means
he's acknowledging that he's old enough to be her father.
Yeah.
He had no problem with it. I don't know. It's a bit weird to me. Yeah, I thought Sean Connery was great in this movie. So that was just his regular Scottish accent.
I think so. I mean, he's supposed to be from Phoenix or America. So
okay, I guess the character might have some origins there or something. That's cool. Yeah, because I thought his accent was interesting for sure. But yeah, the dynamic between him and Indy was just really fun. Like their whole like dysfunctional bond. I don't know, like it had depth to it. I think I read in the trivia that Spielberg, the way he described it, and I think he nailed it. Like he was going for something that was emotional, and like there is depth emotionally between the two of them, but it's not sentimental. Like the film never gets bogged down in like big emotional scenes that are like, you know, really meant to hit you in the heartstrings or whatever. Like, but there is depth between them, but it's just like it's just played for laughs and never made fun of, but. I don't know, them just being a team by sort of making the situation worse for each other, often during the action, was a fun choice as well. My favourite scene in the movie is probably everything when they're captured originally in the, I don't know, is it like a Nazi palace in Austria or whatever it is? That whole thing there where they're captured and they're tied to the same chair, that whole action sequence was really, really enjoyable. Like they're constant arguing while they're sort of managing to somehow like actually work together and shuffle the chair around and all the yelling at each other and everything with the spinny, what do you call that? Like the secret compartment ball or whatever. All the action there, the choreography there was really fun. So that was probably my favorite stuff in the movie.
I really like just that dynamic again later on with the tank. Like I think the tank stuff is like probably like my favorite action we've seen in the series.
Oh.
And like I think like it's actually like when he's getting dragged along the wall, like it actually, like obviously we know he gets out, but like it feels tense because you see him getting dirty, you see him getting bloody and like bumped against it. Like, you feel like he's getting ripped up, although obviously he's not going to die. But like that, yeah. I thought that was really cool. And then just all the stuff that's happening on the inside of the tank as well, and that's kind of played for laugh at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a pretty good balance.
Just functions super well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Overall, yeah, we can get into them all, but I think the action was probably my favorite here in the series. Did you know that that scene that you're talking about with him hanging on the side of the tank and like getting mud and dirt all over, and that was Harrison Ford did that entire stunt himself, so that's always him in every shot.
I was trying to figure that out because there was one shot where it was like the back of him, and I think it's after he gets something gets tossed off or something like that, and I was like, that doesn't look like Ford, but I'm like, sure, I have a feeling like it was. So I was like, did he do all his own stunts or was it just that?
Is that the one in the? It's not exactly that part where he's hanging off, right? Or is it just another quick shot in the tank sequence?
In the tank sequence.
But not the part where he's hanging and getting mud on his face. Right, yeah, no, that might have been a stuntman because there was a stuntman for him. Okay. But I just read in the trivia that the stuntman had said that like Harrison was doing way more stunts than ratio wise, then the stuntman would usually do more of them. Harrison was jumping in a lot more. So that one you're talking about was probably the stuntman. But Harrison was doing a lot. He was getting all that shit thrown on him by like the crew was like throwing shit on him apparently, which is pretty fun. I've got some trivia here about Sir Sean Connery. Here we go. Sean Connery was always Steven Spielberg's first choice to play Indiana Jones's father, as an inside joke to say that James Bond is the father of Indiana Jones. Spielberg had always wanted to do a Bond movie, but did Indiana Jones as a James Bond type character instead, which is something we talked about with Raiders as well. So I don't know, like that aspect that's not really an aspect of the character, I wouldn't say, of Henry Jones. It's not like he's like James Bond or anything. So, but it's just fun that like
he's got the betting young women type of thing down.
Oh, sure. Yeah, except he's like, way too old. But yeah. So other than that, it's not like there's a lot of character overlap, but it's just fun that inside joke like was the I guess the inciting event to cast him. But then he was just great in his own right in the role as well. I really liked his costume design as well. I don't know if you guys thought it was cool, but I don't know. It felt like it was like the fishing hat. Is that what it is he wears?
Oh,
I think it's a fishing hat.
Some bucket thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
It's just like you've never seen anyone under the age of 60 wear one of those,
I'm gonna change that next time I see you.
Do you have one?
No, God no.
Oh, okay. That was cool. I liked his costume design. It's kind of iconic in its own way. I don't know. So we talk a bit about the villains, I guess. Can I just say though, Dr. Schneider, Indy scored a huge upgrade with Dr. Schneider in this movie. I know she betrayed him. But this is by far short. This is knocked the other two out of the water, right? No offense.
Oh, in terms of what? Just being useless?
I feel like the second Indy walked out of that boat and saw this chick, she's like, oh, he didn't. Willie who? What? He didn't give a shit anymore. He didn't give a shit. I don't know. I feel like he scored an upgrade here. Just saying.
That's what surprised me actually. I thought Willie returned in this one, because I swear when we were doing Raiders, I was saying, oh yeah, I think she returns later in the series, or does she return in number 4?
Well, I think the first chick returned.
The first one, yeah, not Willie, sorry,
yeah, she comes back.
And did she come back in Crystal Skull? I thought she came back in this one.
No, she comes back in Crystal, but I don't think Willie's ever seen from again.
Yeah, no, yeah, I meant.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know, Dr. Schneider. I mean, she says she's not a Nazi. She kind of is a Nazi. I thought they might have had a sort of bit more of a redemption arc with her, but she kind of did just like suck. Like she claimed she wasn't a Nazi. It's like, oh, I wouldn't burn any books, but then she continues to hang out with them the rest of the time. So I don't know, a bit sus there.
Who's she meant to hang out with?
Well, she's not even German, is she? That's what I assumed. She's Austrian, isn't she, or something else?
Thing.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
At that time, anyway.
Jan, was her betrayal an aspect of the villains you were talking about, or was there? Well, there's the other guy, right? Well, I forgot his name, but the
Donovan,
the guy who Donovan. Thank you. Yes, him.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that was sus, but then when he got knocked out, I was like, oh, maybe it's not sus. And then I thought he was going to die, and then he came back. I was like, oh, it's fucking full roller coaster with him.
Yeah.
I guess I was surprised by that.
Okay.
But I think I like the moment I saw Elsa, I was like, nah.
Oh, so a bit sus on her the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. Who were your spidey senses tingling for, Fitzy?
Not Elsa, actually. I was surprised, yeah. I was surprised by that.
Okay.
And Donovan. Yeah, I didn't have spidey secret tingles. Really.
Spidey tingles?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was surprised by both of them too, actually. But they were enjoyable. I don't know, like, we talked about the Raiders villains just being, I don't know, just Nazi dudes who sort of blended together, and that other guy who had boring motivations. I don't know, like, not that this is like highbrow villain story, character development or anything, but like, I don't know. It was just, I just sort of, I feel like the characters were more well defined in their roles, and they did some interesting stuff with them. Like, I didn't see the twist coming with them turning on them. So the plot in that sense wasn't so obvious to me. Like, especially compared to when we look at the first film and how, like, you're meant to think Marion's dead for like half an hour and she's clearly isn't, This movie actually genuinely surprised me a few times.
Marion.
Yeah, remember that in Raiders?
When Marion was,
blew up in the car. Sorry. So yeah, I don't know. At least this movie surprised me a few times. And I don't know, like if you look at Schneider, you look at the non-Nazi guys hanging out with the Nazis, Donovan, And then of course you still have your generic Nazi general, but there's only one of them at least. So I don't know. I feel like it was just a bit clearer this time, especially. Well, there's also Hitler in this movie as well.
Oh, that was funny as
a cameo. You thought that was good?
Yeah, he gets the fucking autograph from Hitler at a book burning rally. I mean, like that's a banger.
It is pretty good. How do you reckon those actually played out? Like, I must admit that it does feel like there's a bit of a contradiction here. Like, do they not should he not sign it and then immediately throw it in the fire?
Well, I mean, if it's a personal diary, which I think that's what it was, right? Was it?
It was, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I assume Hitler
that's different. They're not burning, they're not burning your diary. You're burning literature,
Got it. Okay. See, I'm dumb, so I just thought they had a vendetta against anything with a paperback. And
surely Hitler would have seen that the diary is, written in English and not German.
Actually, a good point.
Maybe a bit of a plot hole there.
Maybe he just thought he was a scholar.
Yeah, he's like a academic student, studying he's very worldly, this man. Maybe that's what he thought. I don't know. Jan, you mentioned the music. I thought it was good overall too. I must admit though, did it stand out to you in this Hitler sequence? Because it was very comedic. It was very, very upbeat,
Yeah, I just think like going back to that point on like the Mickey Mousing that you guys brought up all those weeks ago, like I feel like it's still present, but not like it's a way more subtle kind of thing, and I think it just feels like less integrated with everything else, and it just feels like I can take that degree of separation, and like it's still, I think it's still pretty similar in terms of tone and all that shit of what we've seen, and yes, definitely like it does have that like kind of like light-hearted comedic kind of thing to it, but yeah, I think like why I liked it was that there was a bit less of that, punch in the high strings or whatever,
Yeah, there definitely was noticeably less of that. Yeah. Do you agree with that, Fitzy? Any main takeaways with the score? Any main scenes or anything like that?
Yeah, no, like the film definitely felt less goofy overall because there was less of that like comic book kind of like, I don't know, what do you call it? Like, comic book feeling things, but
yeah. I don't know if this is a bit of a broad comment, but like for me, I sort of see that in the opening scene where they cut to Indy on the boat, like the whole boat at night scene where it's pretty quick, but the action scene where he's like in that situation and he jumps off the boat and he's beating people up, like, I don't know, like that's sort of the perfect example of like the tone I want for these movies, where it's like, the action he's still beating people up, he's still using the whip, he's still jumping around, like, it's clearly Indiana Jones, but the score isn't wacky. It's rainy and it's quite visually dark, and it's quite a precarious, dangerous situation he's in, and I took it seriously as a result. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's sort of just the perfect balance I need. I'm not asking for Indiana Jones to like, become a gory thing or anything like that, but I don't know. Yeah, it can lean a bit too more on the goofy side in the past.
It did return to that great gore with the face, the whole guy like just shrinking in on himself as he got older or whatever.
As Donovan like aged in the when he drank the wrong grail. Yeah, that was pretty gross looking for sure.
That's actually one thing, like that kind of selection of the cup is like one thing that I did remember clearly, like, and then he chose the cup and just cup, I was like, this guy.
I didn't remember that before, but as it was one of those things where like as I was watching it, it's like it like stirs up images in my brain, like, oh, I know I've seen this before. That whole scene.
The entire like last treasure hunt cup sequence is like the most like implanted, sequence in my head, I reckon. Yeah, not out of everything in life, just out of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, I liked it all too. So, do Indy and Henry, are they now immortal? I was a bit confused.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Like, is that why they can keep on doing these movies? Because Indy's just going to keep on going.
But he ages it in real time, as we now know. It's not like the Dial of Destiny takes place in 2063. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, when does Dial of Destiny take place? Do you know?
Oh, I think it's like the 60s or 70s or something.
Oh, so it is noticeably later. Actually, I think we talked about this, didn't we?
I think we talked about it being in the 60s or something. Didn't we?
Yeah. Well, I think we said. Well, you can. I don't know the answer, but like we know Kingdom of the Crystal Skull's in the 50s. So however much time they decide Indy's age since then, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they'll make Indy as old as Harrison Ford. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like I don't know if I said this before because maybe I'm just repeating myself, but like if like they do go to like the 70s or early 80s and like Indiana Jones is being made about Indiana Jones, like, like Raiders of the Lost Ark being adapted off him.
We definitely have talked about
Did
that.
we? Okay, fuck.
Hang on, I'll make the same joke. You want me to make the same joke where I go,
sure.
oh, Indy goes and sees the biopic about him, and it's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
God damn it.
That's fine. It's just such good content. We never recycle content, Jane, so we may as well do it every now and again. It's fine. Although, do you reckon? So, I mean, the implication of this film by itself, genuinely, is that they should now be immortal, right? Like, there's nothing that dispels that in the movie.
Yep.
So, I presume that's just a product of. I don't remember if Kingdom explains it, or maybe Dial of Destiny will explain it. I don't know, but I must think that's like just a product of them thinking this was the last movie. Like, you could, if there were no more sequels, you could just assume that they do live forever at this point. Fitzy, when you say this whole final sequence sort of sticks in your brain, is that also in reference to sort of the lead up of Henry getting shot and then sort of the little mini trials that Indy has to go on to get into the room?
Oh yeah, like the trials up until like Donovan drinking the cup, I reckon.
Okay.
It was like very memorable. And I totally figured out like what the trials actually are. Like they kind of do seem like they're actually like bound by some mystical force, but they're just, razor blades and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe it just depends what mood I'm in, because I think I mentioned in the Raiders review, like the boulder stuff and all the booby traps and stuff didn't really do much for me at that time. But I was into it this time. Maybe it was just a mood thing, because it is very much stuff you've seen before because it comes from this movie, obviously. Like the walking on the letters was cool, and that's one of those ones that is really cool because always have to bring it back to Uncharted. But because my whole takeaway with this whole franchise so far has been, I just really wish I could play these. But then knowing that they do the whole walking on letters thing in Uncharted 4 and you actually get to do it, like that's really fun. I like that a lot. That they took that from this. And the optical illusion bridge was really cool as well. Did you guys like the airplane sequence and sort of then that transition into the car chase?
Yeah, it was funny as fuck when he shot out his own tail.
It was pretty funny. Yeah. That was hopeless for sure. That was good. Yeah, the whole thing, I don't know. That was really funny. I liked the whole thing. It was pretty primitive looking for sure. But I don't know, it was goofy enough to be enjoyable. Well, I must say though, when the plane slides past them in the tunnel, that was pretty absurd. But I don't know. It's good stuff. Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up. We sort of already touched on the extended action scene with the tank in the desert, which was good stuff. But I always actually did remember, like I actually think I was conscious of this before the movie started. I was aware of the fake out death in the movie that they have with Indiana Jones. I actually quite like this moment. It's quite good. Like it's silly. And again, like Jaden's already said, like you don't believe Indiana Jones is dead for like half a second, or at least we don't. I don't know, at the time you might have, but I don't know. Like it was actually a sweet moment between the two characters as well. It's sort of, that's more what it achieved for me, was Henry wanted more to say to Indiana Jones. There's clearly unfinished emotional stuff between them, and to have it sort of play out in that fun, goofy way of like it's actually kind of deep when you think about it, but it's or like it's quite distressing when you think about it for Henry, I guess. But to have it sort of play out in the context of, it's funny that Indiana Jones like is standing right there next to them, and they do that whole gag where they like slowly look behind them and realize he's there. Yeah, that's like the perfect balance of fun humor, but if you think about it, it's pretty traumatic as well, So I quite like that scene.
What did you think of the cult and the, not cult, but like those guys that were sworn to protecting the secret of the chalice and what they added? That
confused me a little bit. So the main guy just looked like Borat. I just kept referring to him as Borat in my notes. Is his name Kazim? I wrote that down. I don't know. Forget it. He's Borat. So why does Borat reveal where Dr. Jones is, where Henry Jones is, after he was like trying to shoot them and willing to die like 30 seconds before? I didn't really understand that. This is when they're in Venice.
I think he just thought that because he was going for I think he thought that Indy was trying to go for the cup specifically and not
Not his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, like okay. I don't know. I feel like you still wouldn't like give him the next clue to be able to get to the cup if your whole order and your whole life's purpose is to protect the cup. Because you just met this guy.
Indy still wasn't. Indy wasn't going for the cup. He still wasn't going to go for the cup afterwards.
But he does. How does Borat know that?
I don't know. He's all knowing.
I don't know. Yeah, that was kind of weird. But what did you think of them, Jaden? Were they weird to you or at all? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. Like they were fine, I guess. Like this kind of like secret orders like to the Crusade stuff is like kind of typical when you're talking about the Crusades. I say that, but this film probably like was one of the first to introduce it and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's always the thing with this. Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, I was mentioning how like Vietnam was like one of the most evil things that in modern history. Like if you go back 1,000 years, the Crusades are an incredibly evil event. Like the kind of death and kind of pillaging like these 10 Crusades or like that was fucking horrendous, man. The Crusades are a really violent thing that really shouldn't be celebrated. Is another thing.
Okay. I don't actually know anything about them. So who did them, and who'd they do them to?
It was kind of the French. So the Crusades were to go and reclaim the Promised Land. No, not the Promised Land, but like to. It was a Christian thing, It was
like the Middle East.
Yeah, it was to go to the Middle East, go to modern day Israel, Palestine, and like to reclaim the cities from the Saracens. I think they used to call the Middle Easterners. Okay. And basically they would start in England or France, depending on which crusade, and then like this just bunch of dudes that they just march to the Middle East and just pick up anyone on the way who wanted to come or who had the ability to come, and they'd go and lay siege to cities and shit and kill people, and they'd often hold it for like a few years, but then like they'd lose it, which would then prompt another crusade a few years later.
Oh my god!
I'm pretty sure that like there was 10 crusades and like they got less and less popular as it went on. like the first one had like a couple 100,000 people, I'm pretty sure, and then by the 10th one there was like some of them didn't even make it to the Middle East because like they just fell apart from infighting.
Okay, I don't want to try and trivialize anything that does sound terrible, but the way I've just learned about it was pretty funny. Like there's a bunch of dudes from England just go, yeah, we're going to take back the Holy Land. Anyone want to come? And they just all tag along and eventually give up.
That's what it is. like it is, but like it's like a really
that's
horrible.
Terrible.
But like yeah, that's
terrible. That's so dumb, man. That's really stupid. God, people suck. Okay. Thank you for teaching me about that. Although, actually, this movie, terrible transition, really bad transition, but this movie did confirm that Indiana's name in universe comes from a dog as well. Tying in the trivia.
That was yeah, that's right.
That was cool. That was good. I actually liked that. And yeah, the final shot of this movie was awesome. I loved it. Riding into the sunset with the score. You can't beat it. What an amazing end to a franchise. You know what I mean? Oh God. Sorry, Stephen. Okay. Luke wrote in a review for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He says, a fantastic end to an original trilogy. Great synthesis of everything which came before and a brilliant showcase of all things Indiana Jones. Charming chemistry between Henry Jones Sr. and Jr., a well-sequenced treasure hunt, blending all the necessary elements for an Indy film. The best use of humour and self-awareness so far. Indy defeating Nazis has never been so good. Yeah, I totally agree with that, Luke. Thank you. So Luke gave it a 9 out of 10 on Letterboxd, I saw. Did he give that? He gave that to Temple as well, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Although he very much made it clear on the podcast that he gave Temple of Doom a 9 for Paul. Luke, you need to clarify which is your favourite.
Let's suss his top 4 movies and see.
We'll see if
Temple
he's
of
available
Doom is in the top 4, so I assume it is Temple.
Okay. I assume Spooky's a shoe-in for the Dial of Destiny episode so we can do our rankings with him. Any other fun... The movie's just got a lot of fun little small moments that I feel like they're easy to brush over, but are there any that we haven't mentioned that stand out to you guys?
I thought the no ticket thing was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
No ticket, then everyone chose a ticket.
Probably the best gag in the series.
That was good. Excellent. Okay, let's get to our final verdicts for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Jaden.
I'll plop an 8 on it. This series has only been going up for me, 6, 7,
Yeah.
and 8. So
Yeah.
that's going to continue with Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny, hopefully.
Hell yeah. I'll give it a 7. Really liked it for sure. Fitzy.
Yeah, I'll slap an 8 on this bad boy. Yeah. It was just great. It was a great time. Yeah.
I'm very, very curious about where these next two go now that we're done with the OG trilogy. You know, everyone likes the original trilogy. You know, everyone, you know what you're getting. Well, except with us with the Raiders episode. But these sequels, we'll see what happens. It's going to be hopefully a bit controversial. Okay, let's get into news chat. Fitzy, there was a Barbie trailer that you watched.
Didn't you guys watch it?
No.
No.
I'm not going to lie. I don't give a shit about this movie. I really don't care.
Yeah, I get that. No, it was okay. Oh yeah, I kind of understood a little bit about what the movie's about. I guess a bit more. It's a bit more Lego movie than I thought. So, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Is he going to be seen with Will Ferrell playing with his Barbies?
Yes, there probably will be. He's
Yeah.
the
Wait,
villain.
really?
Yeah,
Wait, Will Ferrell's in this movie?
yeah, that's what the trailer told us.
And he's the villain.
He's the I'm pretty sure he's like the CEO of Barbie. He's like, and Barbie goes into the real world, and so he'll probably be playing with his Barbies at some point. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's pretty fun. I didn't... Okay. No, I mean, I'll definitely watch it. Like, I like Greta Gerwig, so I'll check it out. But I'm just saying, I haven't got a lot of hype, you know?
Mate, we're doing the opening day double feature.
We're not though, are we?
Well, I definitely am.
We're going to IMAX to see Oppenheimer, dude.
Oh, yeah, right. Barbie probably won't. Yeah, fuck. I don't know if I want to spend IMAX money on Barbie, actually. Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't think Barbie gets IMAX. I don't know if they play Barbie.
That's right. We'll go across town to Hoyt at Melbourne Central, and then
Oh yeah, you can
done
do
deal.
that. Yeah. Hopefully Oppenheimer doesn't give us all a migraine. You know.
Oh, yeah, some of us might have to
We'll be
pay
able
early. It'll be like
actually
it'll be
have a
like a
watch
crusade,
Barbie.
you know. We'll see who makes it to the Holy Land.
We're gonna watch Barbie. Anyone want to come? Oh yeah, that's it. All right, now that's time for our highlights of the week. Oh god, Jaden, what have you been watching?
I've been rewatching. Well, not I rewatched American Vandal. Did I talk about this on the show like a few years ago? I can't remember if I watched this in 2019 or 20. Because if I watched it in 2020, then I definitely would have talked about it on the show.
I don't recall.
No. Have you guys Liam? Have you seen it? I feel like you might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen both seasons. Yeah.
This show is so fucking good, man. It is one of the best shows I've seen in terms of what it sets out to do. It achieves in the best possible way. So American Vandal is a parody of Netflix true crime dramas, and it follows it. So it's presented as if like it's presented as if it's like a web show made by the protagonist, and then just uploaded to YouTube, but then it's uploaded to Netflix. So like in the opening credits, all the credits are like the kids that are working on the show. The first season is the two protagonists, Peter and Sam. They're best investigators, and like the crime is that someone's spray painted 27 cars at the school, like 27 of the teachers' cars with massive dicks. And like so, like the first season is they blame one student on it, but like the first season is about exonerating that student, not exonerating the student, but trying to prove beyond doubt, like whether he did it.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic. Like it is just so funny. Like they're talking about like ballistics of like the spray can and like, oh, but what about the ball hairs? And like they're treating like the way like these Netflix documentaries or like just true crime documentaries in general like have these like massive like kind of like what if questions based on like these kind of small things, and like the way like they present them, it's really fantastic. And then season 2 is set at a private school on the other side of the country, and like, oh, we actually got approval and a bit of a budget because of the successful season 1 or whatever. So like it's like giving an in-universe explanation as to why they can happen. And like they go to this place where there's been like a series of shit related crimes. So a lot of the humor is quite childish, basically, whatever you want, but like it is still very funny. But season 2 ends on a really like kind of dark, not doesn't end on a dark note, sorry, but like it has a very dark turn to it, and like it's very real world, and like it's just like it ties in like a really great drama to it, just kind of in terms of like feeling real world. Like these characters feel real. Like you could point to any of these characters and I could say, oh yeah, that looks like X and Y from high school. Oh yeah, he does that X and Y from high school. Like these people feel like real teenagers, which so often is not the case in like so many productions. You know,
Yeah.
I think when I first watched it, I was probably a bit hesitant to recommend it, but like on this rewatch, I'm like I'd recommend it to everyone, absolutely everyone.
Really? It's American Vandal.
Yeah,
It's not, and it's on Netflix.
yeah. 8 episodes
Yeah.
each season. They're 30-minute episodes.
That was my next question.
Yeah,
That's great. I've never heard of it. I'm going to add that to my watch list.
bro.
Nice.
Download it for the plane. Bang it all out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It'll prepare you for America.
Sweet. I'm excited to see the shit on the streets in San Francisco. All right. Oh man. I've been watching bits and bobs. I've been watching episodes of things, but just haven't finished anything yet to be able to talk about. So I'll go to you, Fitzy. What have you been watching?
I watched like most of the Up series, which I'd only seen like a bit of 63 Up before, like when it aired. Yeah, it's really fun series. It's really good. I don't know. It's just kind of inherently interesting, I guess. I'm surprised this is like the only thing that's done this, I guess. But yeah, it's a cool series. It's cool. I don't know. It's cool just seeing like basic how people's like basic personalities kind of, you know, shape their lives over the long run, I guess. So yeah.
Could you just briefly explain it for people who don't know what it is?
Oh sure. It's like so like this company, when these kids were 7, they interviewed them to basically their headline was like, this is a glimpse of Britain's future. And this director decided to come back to these guys, who wasn't the same guy who interviewed them initially, but he decided to come back to them every 7 years and basically just, you know, every 7 years you get a new film or miniseries, which, you know, shows how their lives have changed, I guess.
Oh, okay. So what's the director's name again? Sorry.
Michael Apted, I think.
Yeah. So did he not do the first one?
No.
Really? Oh, okay. So he just jumped in on when they were 14 and then onwards.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Thank you for watching these, by the way, because I've seen these and I had never logged them. I just totally forgot. Yeah. So that was handy for me. Although I don't think, I need to double check. I added to my watch list so I can check, but I don't think I ever saw 63 Up. I think we did 56 and it was the last one that was out at the time and then just blanked.
Yeah, I think 56 was my last one too.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen them all too, Jen?
Not all of them. I think I've seen like the 30, 40s, and 50.
Okay. Yeah. It is interesting. Yeah, it is really cool. I need to watch 63. So, one thing I was interested in, I forgot. Do some of them die?
I'm not up to that point yet. So I've watched 49. So okay. Maybe in 50.
Has anyone died yet?
No one's died yet.
Okay. I couldn't recall. I just thought it would be. I just assumed, like statistically, one of them might have died, but I couldn't remember. That was a bit of a dark question. I apologize. I was curious. Cool. Okay, I'll have to check out 63 for sure.
When's the next one due to come out?
2026.
Yeah, I think so. 2025 or 6. Yeah.
I assume someone will take it over because Michael died, right, as well. So hopefully someone does it. Imagine someone just forgets and it's just like, oh, we just ended it. Okay, now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is a franchise that should have ended sooner? Luke says Cinema Effect. And I attempted to ban this comment, which I don't know if I did successfully. Well, I can see it now. I did genuinely try and mark it as harassment, but clearly it failed. Luke also says, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and other CW shows. They should have finished everything when Arrow finished. My first answer, though, is a preemptive retaliation for your inevitable MCU answer. Oh, you might be surprised, Luke. You might be surprised. But some of these shows, I thought Legends of Tomorrow I mean, I guess it continued past Arrow is Luke's point, but I thought they're over now, right?
Yeah, Flash just ended, like
Okay.
last week, or it's like the last episode's like
Oh,
going to air like this week or something like that. But
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
the official end of it all.
Is it really? So there's no other. What's it called again? Arrowverse. There's no other
Arrowverse.
Arrowverse shows past next week or whenever.
Yep, all done.
Wow. Okay. There were so many of them. Like Supergirl ended as well.
Yeah, Supergirl's an interesting one because it started off on CBS, but then got cancelled on CBS, and then CW picked up the rights.
Oh, so it actually was never a part of the universe originally.
Yeah, and then like I think they did a crossover episode in season 1 or 2, but then like it officially migrated to the universe in season 2, I think.
Interesting. Oh wow, I never knew that. Okay. That's
But yeah,
cool.
there was way too many for them for like their own good.
I feel like there's more I'm missing, like Legends and Batgirl or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was like
that was a lot.
I think there was like a Black Lightning one as well, or something like that. Static or whatever it's
Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah. Well, Luke, you got your wish. It's all over. But Luke would still watch The Flash, wouldn't he?
called. I think he probably was. I think he watched it up to very recently.
Oh, okay.
Like he might not have seen like the most recent stuff, but I think he kept on watching it for a while.
Okay. We'll get his thoughts when he's on the show.
Mm.
Andy said, probably the Aliens series should have ended earlier, but like Ridley's later film Prometheus was still good. I can tolerate with James Cameron's film despite its entire change of pace, and Fincher's was okay, but the fourth one should have never ever been made. Jane feels the same way. Prometheus is a decent film. I haven't seen Covenant yet, but what I'm trying to say is I would have liked to see them cut off the Alien series a bit earlier, right after they thought about making that awfully brainless fourth film. It just made Sigourney Weaver look like a sex object rather than a consistent female heroine. She was from the first two films. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, Andy, because like I'm just getting Alien 4 review flashbacks. That was a fun one. Thank you, Cinema Effect, for making me get into the series, though. No worries. You got to check out Covenant, Andy, for sure. The mention of James Cameron's name, though, made me. I hadn't considered this up until this point, but it made me think, is Jaden going to say Avatar? What are you going to say, Jaden?
I don't know. I looked at films just before we started, and I already forgot what I looked at and what I decided on.
There's a few good answers, actually.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones for me is Thor. 4 was completely unnecessary. Like just like it's the only like hero to get a fourth film in terms of like trilogies and shit like that. So even breaking that was interesting, and then like the having a completely unsuccessful go at it is just I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. But Spooky brings up a good point with TV. Walking Dead, I think a lot of it would say. Not that I was ever like I think I only ever watched 3 seasons of it, maybe started 4. But you know, when you have 10 seasons of that show, I think
and spin-offs.
Oh, yeah. I loved Fear the Walking Dead for the first few seasons, and then I lost track of it. So
that final season's coming out now, I think, right? Fear the Walking Dead.
I thought that ended a while ago. Is that still going as well?
No, it's definitely still going, but I think it might be the last season airing.
Ah, shit.
I think, but it's definitely still airing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, good point about TV as well, and also good point about Thor actually, because just in terms of splitting the like MCU into sub-franchises, I feel like it'd be a bit cheap to say the MCU. You know?
Yeah.
I don't see the MCU as. I mean, I know it is, but I don't really see it as like a whole like one franchise thing.
No,
it's like when people
these
say
days it 100% like these days it's a very homogenous kind of thing.
Yeah, but I feel like just in terms of when you talk about like when you're trying to categorize it, I feel like it's unfair to say, well, the MCU is the highest grossing film franchise of all time. Well, it's like, sure, but I don't know. It's like it's a franchise comprised of like 10 franchises. I feel like it's kind of cheating. You know what I mean? So I just appreciate that you specified within it, I guess. Fitzy, what about you?
I don't know. I didn't have an answer, so I'm looking at things. But Jurassic Park, I guess. I mean, not a big fan of Jurassic World. I know the other ones weren't good. Haven't seen Dominion, but...
Jaden saw Dominion.
Did he?
Biggest waste of time.
Oh, there you go.
Proven.
Point proved.
Bro, it's like 2.5 hours and it has no right. Like, everything that happens could have been done in like fucking 20 minutes.
Yeah, that does sound like a good answer then. I haven't seen any, like, there were some good ones that I thought would be quality answers. I just haven't seen them all. So, like, I saw Terminator. I think the fact that they needed to reboot Terminator and then people still didn't like it is that's, I think, a side of it should have just been over. And Die Hard I saw as well. But my answer is X-Men. I don't know if that's controversial or not. But
the later ones are the better ones.
oh man, no, they suck. Oh god, they should have stopped. When should they have stopped X-Men? Actually, that's a tough question. They should have stopped after the first one. They should have realized they didn't have anything that was working and they stopped.
Bro, is Days of Future Past not your favorite one? And you said that you actually enjoy it?
It is, but it's no, it totally is, but it's a question of like, was it worth getting there? You know? I don't know. No, actually, you know what? I'm being a bit extreme with that. Let's say they should have ended it after Days of Future Past. Let's say that.
But then you
I'm
miss
fine
out
with
on
that.
Logan.
Oh, yeah, I guess Logan does count. Yeah, that's true. My only point with that is that you didn't have to get Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. Yeah. First Class is okay, but like at least they then sets up the characters for Days of Future Past, so that's fine. I'll allow First Class to exist. You know, otherwise I immediately order the universe. Who owns it? Oh, Disney now. I immediately order Disney to remove Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix from Disney Plus or wherever it is. Please do that. Okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section or the Instagram comments section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what is the sequel that has most altered the tone of its franchise? Let us know. Any guesses as to why we may have chosen this particular question? Fitzy, what do you reckon?
Oh, because we're breaking our franchise rules. We're changing things up.
It's pretty upsetting.
We're doing Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull next week, which is on Stan. We're accommodating Zach for his holiday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I actually am excited. I asked for this because I actually do really want to watch this one. I'll watch it anyway, but I really do want to review it because I feel like it has potential to be a spicy one and I want to be involved. So that'll be good. Or maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't know. Maybe we'll give it a 10. I don't know. All right. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it. Appreciate Jaden and Liam for being here as always as well. Have a great rest of your week and goodbye.